Jerry Lewis, the uncontested king of comedy, left millions of people in stitches throughout his career. However, behind the laughter, his personal life was far from humorous, and it became even more complicated following his death in 2017. The controversy surrounding his will stunned everyone. It was revealed that the legendary comedian had excluded his 6 adult children from his estate. This unexpected decision sent shockwaves through his family, leaving them to grapple with the shocking consequences of his actions. As if that wasn't enough, a startling discovery was made behind the walls of his home, further adding to the intrigue and mystery of Lewis's final days. The contents of this hidden message left his family dumbfounded, and what followed was a series of revelations that would continue to surprise everyone. Fans were shocked by the news of Jerry Lewis's death in August 2017, a surprise after decades of entertainment from the beloved comedian and actor. Known for his energetic performances, slapstick humor, and deep influence on comedy, Lewis had been an iconic figure in the entertainment industry. His death at the age of 91 was attributed to heart failure, marking the end of a remarkable career that spanned decades. Despite his frail health in his later years, many of his fans were unaware that his condition had worsened. He was surrounded by family during his final moments, including his wife, Sandy Pitnick, and his adoptive daughter, Danielle. This emotional moment in Lewis's life was a somber closure to a man whose influence had shaped the landscape of comedy. Jerry Lewis's will became public, sparking headlines when it revealed that he had excluded 6 of his adult children from his inheritance. This move raised many questions, and was viewed by some as a reflection of the complicated and sometimes strained relationships he had within his own family. While Jerry was known for his comedic genius and his extensive career in film, especially for his partnership with Dean Martin, his personal life was not always as charming. Those closest to him knew that he harbored a darker side, a side that was kept largely hidden from the public. Despite his public persona as a lovable and goofy entertainer, Jerry's private life was marked by struggles and difficulties, particularly in his relationships with his children. Growing up in a creative household, Lewis was encouraged to seek attention, and his journey to Hollywood was fueled by a desire to stand out and make a name for himself. This ambition led him to become one of the most recognizable names in the entertainment industry, but it also left a trail of personal turmoil. Throughout his life, his pursuit of fame came with both success and regret, and his legacy is marked by this complex contrast between the public and private man. Jerry Lewis began his career in show business performing at school concerts, where his comedic talent first started to shine. As he gained experience, he eventually formed a comedy duo at a New Jersey hotel, which marked the beginning of his professional journey. During this time, he decided to change his name from Joseph Levitch to Jerry Lewis, a move that would later become iconic in the entertainment world. His name change symbolized a new chapter in his career, and was a step toward creating his own identity in the competitive world of comedy and acting. In the 1950s, Jerry Lewis met Dean Martin, a partnership that would become one of the most famous comedy duos in history. Their chemistry was undeniable, and together, they brought a unique blend of humor and performance to the screen, captivating audiences everywhere. The pair's success was not only seen in their live performances, but also in a series of films that further cemented their place in show business. Their comedic timing and ability to play off each other's personalities were key to their success, making them one of the most beloved pairs in Hollywood. Jerry Lewis made his Hollywood debut in 1949 alongside Dean Martin in the comedy My Friend Irma. This film marked the beginning of their iconic partnership, and the duo quickly became a popular comedic force in Hollywood. They appeared in several successful films together, blending Martin's smooth, straight man persona with Lewis's wild, slapstick humor. Their combination captured the hearts of audiences, and their films, such as At War with the Army and Scared Stiff, became box office hits. However, in 1956, the partnership between Lewis and Martin came to an end, and Lewis set out to establish himself as a solo artist. Despite the split, he managed to carve out a unique place for himself in Hollywood, continuing to create a successful career in comedy. Lewis starred in a number of films, but he also began expanding his roles in the industry, taking on directing duties and further developing his creative vision. In 1960, Lewis made his directing debut with The Bellboy, a film in which he also starred. The film was a critical and commercial success, marking a pivotal point in his career. His direction in The Bellboy showcased his ability to blend slapstick comedy with a more refined sense of visual storytelling, which would go on to influence his future projects. This film demonstrated Lewis's versatility and his ability to not only perform, but also control the artistic direction of his work, paving the way for his later films where he continued to experiment with humor and storytelling. Jerry Lewis directed and performed in The Nutty Professor in 1963, a film that became an enormous success. His portrayal of the bumbling, yet lovable, Professor Julius Kelp was widely praised for its physical comedy and transformation scenes. This film was a major milestone in his career, solidifying his place as one of the most iconic comedians of the era. After his success in Hollywood, Lewis expanded his efforts to philanthropy, becoming a prominent figure in the fight against muscular dystrophy. Starting in 1966, he began hosting telethons for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, a tradition he would carry on for many years. His telethons raised millions of dollars for research and brought awareness to the disease. The telethons became a staple of American television, with Jerry Lewis becoming a household name for his charitable work. In the 1980s, Lewis made a significant return to the spotlight with his role in Martin Scorsese's The King of Comedy. This film marked a shift in his career, as it showcased his abilities in a more dramatic role. Lewis's performance as the egotistical comedian, Jerry Langford, was a departure from his typical slapstick style, but was praised for its depth and complexity. This marked the beginning of a resurgence in his acting career, with Lewis gaining recognition for his contributions to cinema beyond his earlier comedy work. Jerry Lewis, a man known for his charm and humor, attracted the admiration of many women throughout his life. However, only a few women left a lasting mark on him. His first significant relationship was with Patty Palmer, whom he married in 1944. The couple had 6 sons together, and their life seemed ideal at first. Yet, despite the family life they built, Lewis admitted to infidelity during their marriage. This betrayal contributed to their eventual divorce in 1983 after nearly 4 decades of marriage. Following the end of his first marriage, Lewis found love again with Sandy Pitnick, marrying her in 1983. Together, they adopted a daughter named Danielle, creating a new chapter in his personal life. This second marriage marked a more peaceful and stable period for Lewis compared to the turbulence of his first. Jerry Lewis, the legendary actor known for his slapstick humor and charismatic performances, made headlines not only for his entertainment career, but also for the complicated dynamics within his family. One of the most talked about aspects of his later years involved his decision to exclude his 6 sons from his will, a choice that left his estate to his longtime wife, Sandy Pitnick, and their daughter, Danielle. This decision came as a shock to many, especially considering the family's prominent place in the public eye. Among the sons, Anthony Lewis, who had a strained relationship with his father, was particularly vocal about the nature of their bond. He described a childhood filled with emotional and physical abuse, painting a picture of a difficult and toxic family environment. Anthony claimed that his father's treatment of him was harsh, often involving both emotional and physical cruelty, which he carried with him well into adulthood. These allegations added fuel to the fire of public speculation about the Lewis family's inner struggles. While Jerry Lewis had built a career on making people laugh, his personal life seemed to be marked by the opposite, a complicated web of bitterness, resentment, and estrangement. This rocky relationship between father and son came to a head when Jerry's will was revealed, with Anthony and his siblings left out of the inheritance entirely. Anthony's reaction to his exclusion from the will was one of hurt, not just because of the financial implications, but because it seemed to confirm everything he had felt about his relationship with his father. The decision to leave his sons out of the will was not just a financial matter. It was a personal rejection that highlighted the deep rift between them. The allegations of abuse only added to the public's growing curiosity about the true nature of Jerry Lewis's life behind the scenes. While his professional achievements were celebrated worldwide, his personal life told a much more somber story. The complex dynamics of his family, coupled with the claims of abuse, have left many questioning the legacy of the man who once brought so much joy to audiences. His decision to exclude his children from his will, and the accusations from his son represent a painful chapter in the life of an icon whose personal demons were just as powerful as his comedic genius. Only 2 of Jerry Lewis's sons were invited to his funeral. This decision highlighted the deep family divisions that had marked his life, particularly with his son Joseph. Joseph Lewis, who had been estranged from his father for 2 decades, tragically died of a heroin overdose in 2009. The estrangement between father and son was a painful chapter in their lives, and it seemed to carry a heavy emotional toll on both. Despite Joseph's tragic passing, Jerry Lewis chose not to contribute to the burial expenses, a decision that reflected the strained relationship they had shared for years. This absence of financial support after Joseph's death only deepened the sense of neglect and abandonment felt by his family, particularly his brother Gary. In an interview, Gary Lewis openly criticized his father, suggesting that their fractured relationship had played a significant role in Joseph's eventual demise. The lack of reconciliation between Jerry and Joseph is often seen as a sad and unresolved chapter in the life of the famous actor and comedian. The family's pain and disconnection were evident, and Gary's words highlighted the lasting impact of Jerry's actions on the family's dynamics. The events surrounding Joseph's death and Jerry's choices surrounding it remain a poignant part of his legacy. Lewis was deeply heartbroken over the death of Joseph, a loss that hit him hard emotionally. However, he stood by his actions regarding his will, even as the circumstances surrounding his decision led to public scrutiny. His response to the matter was firm, defending his choices despite the backlash. On the other hand, Anthony, who had been involved in the situation, expressed great sorrow over the exclusion of his grandchildren from the will. This emotional outpouring reflected his hurt, showing how personal the matter was for him and the family dynamics that were affected. In the broader context of celebrity estates, Lewis was far from being the first figure to have a contentious will that stirred controversy. Burt Reynolds, a fellow celebrity, also found himself in a similar situation when he chose to leave his son out of his will. The decisions by both Lewis and Reynolds highlight the complexities and challenges that often arise when managing personal affairs and legacies, especially when family relationships become strained or complicated.